Hi, this is Nicholas Hamilton, Henry Bowers from It and It Chapter 2, and you're listening to the Don't Go Out There horror movie podcast.
They've conquered the big screen. Now, get ready for the spin-off sure to send chills down your spine. It's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin in Don't Go Out There, the series.
Welcome back, everybody, to DGOT, the series. We really appreciate y'all listening. We hope y'all have been enjoying these series reviews. I know we have. It's been a lot of fun. Just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgooutthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgooutthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We are continuing on with It. Welcome to Derry, Episode 2, The Thing in the Dark. I'll just give my general thoughts. To be honest with you, I thought this episode wasn't even as good as the first one. It kind of drug on and on to me. And I agree with Mike. I listened to our episode today, finally. I listened back. Like, the military stuff just isn't doing it for me right now. Like, we got 8 more episodes. Obviously, something good could come from it. But I'm just kind of tired of it. I think I just got it set in my mind from seeing, Chapter 1 and 2 and doing the original miniseries recently. Like, I just want to see kids dealing with Pennywise the Clown and not all this other stuff. But we'll see, obviously with the next 8 episodes if that changes. But I don't know. I'm just kind of struggling to get locked in. But there were some really good moments in this episode as well. Like, I love the grocery store scene at the end. I thought that was great. But, yeah, I just thought this episode was okay, and I hope it gets a little bit better.
I agree with you. I didn't like this episode at all, to be honest. I found it boring, and I'm just going to say it now and not wait till the end, but it kind of set up a route that I really didn't want with this series. And I'm really hoping that they don't take that route, and it's, that's too much of an origin story of it. And what we're doing here, I mean, like, what are we doing here? Are we're going to try to weaponize the evil object? Like, come the fuck on with this. Like, I just am not interested in that. I really hope the series redeems itself moving forward. I haven't seen episode 3 yet. I really hope that this episode was just a swerve. Now, it did have a ton of Easter eggs as fans of the movies and this new Andy Muschietti It verse. You guys, everybody will notice that, but it wasn't enough to have make me liked the episode, because I did not at all.
Wow. I thought I was the one that didn't like watching series anymore. I don't like watching shows at all, but I like this episode. I liked it more than the first one. So
here we go.
let's Jon Snow it here. I will say I agree with you, Brian, though, about weaponizing the monster or whatever. We saw in Trimmer's Cold Day in Hell, that just doesn't work out according to plan most of the time. I think that the first episode, like I said, pilots usually are tougher for me because they're so slow moving, so much world building. So I think I just appreciated the fact that I don't have to keep up with these characters. Like, I know who they are. I mean, we got introduced to Dick more this episode. Obviously, we heard his name and stuff. But which Mike is introduced to Dick on a daily basis. But I like it. I think there's a good balance of still building where we're going, but then they throw in some razzle dazzle. And that grocery store episode, or that grocery store scene, I thought was really good. I thought it was great. Matter of fact, And then the way that the episode ends there in the at the dig site. Is that how that was after the grocery store, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm doing scene to scene. I can't even remember, but I thought that was a good way to end on something like, oh, where's this going to go? Get us building that anticipation for the third episode. So I liked it.
I'm going to actually be Jon Snow in the grocery store part then, because I didn't really like that at all.
Wow. So. All right. I guess we're all in this together about being Jon Snow.
Yeah, I'm curious what aspects you didn't like about it. Like, I can understand like the thing forming towards the end, but I thought like the setup was really good.
I thought it was really creepy.
But we'll get there. Go ahead, Dustin, whenever you're ready.
All right. I guess I'm doing scene by scene. So as always, Lord bear me strength. Episode 2. Welcome to Derry, The Thing in the Dark. My nickname in college. We open with a recap of episode 1, and then we end up back in the theater with the closing moments of the horror we saw in episode 1, and it's a nightmare that Lily is having. After that, we see a pretty creative and ironically upbeat opening credit scene with a cheerful theme. I did love the Welcome to Derry title card here. It looked like an old school postcard. That was awesome. After that, we see cops watching a building, speculating it was the projectionist Hank who killed the kids. Inside, Hank's mom says he was nowhere near the theater while Ronnie listens. Mama demands that Hank send Ronnie back to school next week. We cut to Hanlon, who's enjoying a PBR with a newspaper on his front porch when his family arrives. I mean, that's a perfect scenario. PBR on the front porch, beautiful day outside, and then a woman arrives. Like, his wife, though, is played by Taylor Page, who Nico and I saw earlier this year in The Toxic Avenger. She also played Zola in the A24 movie Zola. I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's a really good actress. The family gets settled in, and then we cut to the next day at school. Margie walks up on some girls where Elaine says she has a crush on a boy named Scotty, which elicits a great laugh. But Marge takes it too far with her mocking. The girls stop their conversation when they see Ronnie arrive. Marge tries to talk to Lily, but Lily isn't up for conversation at the moment. Marge tries to tell Lily to knock it off with the Ronnie camaraderie because she's obsessed with what the popular kids think. As class starts, Will Hanlon arrives late, and the teacher is a real jerk. Will gets his chair kicked out from under him by a bully, but another kid compliments his pencil choice, and the teacher yells, "Eyes forward." That's the open. What do you guys think?
The open I thought was interesting. First off, I said, well, it's not a flashback episode. Dustin will be going to be happy. It's the first thing I thought of. But it did not quite just do a recap, and I think it's really cool that we're seeing the same ending, but from Lily's perspective, like through her eyes. I thought that was an awesome touch. But, there is something here, and I think it's a mistake. But based on everyone who was there and killed, we should only have Ronnie up in the booth and then Lily and the little sister alive. But there's a shot here where you can clearly see Teddy running away after seeing him killed earlier. So I think that's a goof in editing there. And I didn't spot it my first watch through. Now, I saw it online too, and I didn't notice it until this time. But the Ass Blaster baby definitely spares Lily here. And the old interwebs say that they think it's because of that turtle charm that she has, and it all going back to Maturin, I guess is how you say that from the book. I don't know. But I thought I'd share that in case y'all weren't aware either. Now, I'll also say that when it showed Lily waking up, until we got that 1 week later title card, I thought, oh, fuck, it was all just a nightmare. Like, it didn't happen. So I'm glad that we didn't go that route. And also, can we talk about this opening title sequence? This shit is awesome. Like, if you actually slow this down, like, the details are just absolutely incredible. We didn't get it in the first episode, but I love this here. The animation, I think, is badass, and that creepy music from Patience and Prudence from 1956, just chef's kiss there. And so we meet Will Hanlon here, and I may be an idiot, but I didn't catch that is actually going to be Mike Hanlon's dad from later on. So that does kind of spoil that. We know that he's going to at least survive this season or however many seasons they do. So that's all I had.
Yeah, Mutant Baby is fucking these kids up, but I'm still not a fan of his look. Like I mentioned, it kind of looks Beetlejuicy to me, not like super scary. Didn't mention this last episode, but dope of Andy Muschietti to return as director for the show. Obviously did chapter 1 and 2. So I just thought it was cool to see that he still had, love for, the It franchise or whatever. And Dustin, it's funny you mentioned it because I wrote this down bar for bar too. Taylor Page plays Charlotte Hanlon. Thought she looked familiar. Dustin and I saw her recently in The Toxic Avenger. check out that instant reaction or that movie if you haven't seen it yet. It's fun. I mean, it's nothing to take serious, but it's fun. The dynamic between Marge and these three girls is pretty realistic and funny. But maybe I'm complaining early, but we're in episode 2, and it seems like a lot of characters to keep up with so far. We'll give this show credit, and Andy Muschietti in general. He's not scared to kill off kids in his work. Like, if you've seen Mama, the It movies, he ain't scared to kill them kids real quick. Is this teacher from Clown in a Cornfield? Teachers expect new kids to know where the classrooms are, like brand new kids. And why isn't this kid who pulled a chair in more trouble? That's way worse than being late as a brand new student. Like, that was mind-blowing. This is the last thing I got, Dustin. I thought it was a decent opening, but kind of a lot to process.
Hanlon goes to see Colonel Fuller and gets some cold stares from some guys leaving his office. Fuller tells him one of the guys who attacked him is no spy, just a racist, and they'll find the other 2 guys. His wife Charlotte heads into town, and it goes from looking like a picture-perfect 50s town to seeing people all up in arms about the Paul Bunyan statue. While Charlotte is at the butcher shop, she sees a boy get jumped by some bullies and decides to step in, which draws looks from the entire town. They seem shocked that she didn't let the nerd get beat up. It's a polarizing topic at dinner, and Will just wants to go to his room. We cut to Hank's house, where Ronnie hears his grandmother upset about the police surveillance. But it gets worse for her. Her bed starts pulsating, and then she's trapped under the sheet, which turns into a uterus, and she has to burst through. When she looks back at the bed, she sees her mom, who says Ronnie tore her apart and killed her. Ronnie tries to escape, but no one cut the umbilical cord, and it stays to pull her back towards her mother's cooter, which has some gnarly-looking teeth that are chomping at her. Ronnie bites through the umbilical cord and is freed, but then her mom starts coming at her. Hank bursts into the room and consoles Ronnie, and the room is perfectly normal again. We cut to 3 black airmen at a bar talking about being questioned, and one of them, Dick, says he wasn't questioned at all. The chief of police comes in, where 2 men hound him for not arresting Hank. Dick looks over at the chief and says it's time to go, right before the bartender comes over to tell them it's time to go. Dick tells them he knows a place they can go as long as they can handle moonshine. What'd you guys think?
So very cool Easter egg here after the military stuff with Miss Hanlon walking by Keen's drugstore. That dude outside smoking that the camera lingers on a little too long on is probably that pharmacist, Dr. Keen, from the movies that gives those placebos to Stanley and is that pedo to Beverly. Or I guess it could have been his dad. I don't know. He looked old as hell in the movies, so I think it's him, but I don't know, actually, 100%. Great review talk, I know. She also passes Falcon Tavern, which is a gay bar from the novel, but I don't know if it's supposed to be a gay bar in this series or not, since we come back to it later. And that Paul Bunyan statue, which we know comes back in It Chapter 1, where it attacks young Richie. There's an interesting shot there, too, from the alleyway from Machete here, just, watching Miss Hanlon walk by, but nothing coming from it. So it's just kind of a cool shot, I thought. Easter egg from the Paul Bunyan sign. It says Proposition 1408, which we know is another King reference there. This butcher being named Kirsch, that's the old ass lady from the second movie that's naked and chases Bev. So I don't know the connection there, but probably her father. Now, Ronnie in this, I guess, placenta birthing scene. Jesus Christ. Look, 2 episodes and 2 birthing scenes. Like, that's 2 more than I ever wanted to see on film. So thanks, Andy. But I don't know. It just didn't terrify me like it was intended to. And that may be a hot take, but I didn't care for that at all. Back at the Falcon Tavern, and here's a member of the Bowers family being chief of police. So being that he's a Bowers, I mean, I can kind of already see that he's going to be dirty. So just, being that the birthing scene was the biggest part of the set of scenes here, it just was another, to me, just Easter egg filled set of scenes. And that's about it. Just nothing of real substance to me.
Welcome to Derry. They said the title. I like that when shows and movies do that. I appreciated it. Good for Mama Charlotte stopping the bullying, but she's going to learn quick. This town is fucked up as a soup sandwich because it was very weird how them bullies just kept chasing the kid. I wonder how many takes it took to get the parents to speak in unison so perfectly. I thought that was impressive. Disgusting how Ronnie birthed her way out of her bed sheets 2 episodes in, and we got 2 intense birthing scenes. I'm curious to see how this plays out in the next 8 episodes. Like, why are we getting so many birthing scenes already? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't usually see this kind of stuff. I love the yellow eyes that stared at Ronnie. Nice little sneak peek of Pennywise to come. I thought that was a very scary scene personally. Chief Clint Boyers may look familiar. He was William Easton in my personal favorite Saw movie, Saw 6. So if he looked familiar, that's why. Shout out Saw 6, the best Saw movie. This ain't America. This is Derry. That's a pretty scary line. What do you mean by that, brother? This is the last thing I got. Not many notes, moving a little slow in my opinion, but I've already kind of said that at the beginning.
We see Dick and his two colleagues stumbling up to the house, and the guard questions them and makes a call. Dick says he has special privileges, and the guard is shocked to learn that that's true, and they're allowed back on base. The next day, Dick is approached by a superior who's upset that Dick's gift isn't producing more results, and they're digging for nothing. We get a nasty transition from Dick puking to a mashed potato-like substance being dumped on Lily's lunch tray. She sits alone as Marge sits with the popular girls, and Ronnie sits with Lily, which draws the attention of the mean girls. Ronnie tells Lily it came back last night and is upset Lily didn't tell the cops what really happened at the theater. Ronnie cusses at Lily, and now she's got an appointment at the principal's office. Next, we see Will sitting in the hallway, where the boy who complimented his pencil choice, Rich, strikes up a conversation. The mean girls walk by, and Rich is in awe, despite one of them flipping him off, which did make me laugh. That was funny. Rich tells Will to run as a kid throws a stink bomb towards him. Will takes his advice, but plows into the mean teacher from earlier. In town, Charlotte walks into an antique shop, and we see Ronnie and Will have detention. They get friendly, and then Ronnie sees Lily being taken from the school by a cop through the window, and the next set of scenes is the ending.
A Dick and his two colleagues. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think I put in the scene by scene breakdown Dick and Balls walking up to the
You did. Okay, so Mike said it in the first episode. Nico said it at the beginning here. Don't tell Mike that I agree with him, but this is really where I do agree with both of y'all. So far, I hate all of this army stuff, all of it. Like, it almost just feels forced so far. Like, I will preface that. So far, it feels like it's just some weird way to force Dick Halloran into the story. But, here's hoping that it kind of eventually, I guess, goes like maybe the Stranger Things route with that. I love the cut from Halloran puking. You brought it up, Dustin, to I guess that's mashed potatoes being on that Lily's plate in the cafeteria. Great cut there. We meet Rich, and I like Rich probably the best of any kid that we've met so far. And that member of the Mean Girls Club flipping him off in slow motion cracked me up too, Dustin. I laughed at that. Great touch there. Another big Easter egg here when we cut to the secondhand Rose thrift store. The same place where adult Bill would buy his swing bite from Stephen King. I mean, hell, when Charlotte enters the store, we can actually hear the employees doing inventory calling out the exact same items that they would quote to Bill in 2016. I laughed my ass off again at the board and the tits and dicks drawn up there. Like I'm 5 years old, I guess, or 12 years old. I think there's an Easter egg to Stephen King's Christine even up there, but come on, tits and dicks drawn on the board is hilarious. Like, you can also see fuck Derry and fuck Paul fucking Bunyan. Somebody's having a bad day. And Principal Dunleavy fucking the turtle. Come on. I mean, again, that's hilarious. But that's all I had on the set of scenes. Not really much happening.
Say that again, bro. I don't have a lot either. Cool to see Dick Halloran in another Stephen King program. And per IMDb, it's the same one from The Shining. I'm like, I'm not a Stephen King expert, but I thought that was a cool nod. Like, do these two, like, is Dick Halloran really in, like, the It Minute, like the It book? Like, I don't know. Did they just...
Yeah.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
He's in the
That's
book,
cool.
and that's why, they're talking about his gift, and where they're digging is based on his gift. So I think they did a great job at tying the two together.
This guy's got a shitty life, though.
Yeah.
Like, he's in Derry, and then he goes out to get killed by...
Catches an axe to the chest.
Yeah, like crazy Jack Nicholson. Like, what a life, man. Like, he deserved better than that. Man, it's the worst feeling in the world. Nice transition from him vomiting to us seeing the horrible-looking mashed potatoes on the lunch tray. I thought that was a great transition. Tense scene with the girls clapping and Ronnie yelling out it's bullshit. Something strange going on around these parts. And this last thing I can't help but feel bad for Will. Tackled the hell out of this lady at school. Man, this man can't catch a break. Like, he just can't get anything right today.
So before I get into the final scene here, story time with Dustin, gather round. Brian, you made me think of it. I don't know why this popped in my head, but you're talking about the tits and dicks being drawn. Yes, that kind of stuff is funny. So fun fact, when I was working at Finish Line years ago, another one of my employees, I was manager, one of my guys wanted to order something for finishline.com. So I'm typing his name in the system for the shipping label that's going to be sent to another store so they can ship it to him. And for his last name, I put 8 equals capital D, which looks like a penis. And I thought it was hilarious. And then I got almost fired because HR called me the next day. So,
Oh my God.
so drawing dicks is not always funny. But anyway, here's the ending. We see a collection of missing children posters on a bulletin board, and we're in the police station. Lily tells the chief she didn't see Hank at the theater that dreadful night, and the chief tells her the town knows about her history, and that if Hank wasn't there, she turns into prime suspect. He threatens to send her back to the loony bin, and he rephrases his question about Hank. We cut to Hank being arrested, and his mom and Ronnie are understandably upset. Ronnie runs to Lily's house, and Lily says she was tricked. Next, we see Hanlon on base, where he visits the guy who attacked him in military jail. He pulls a gun that's the same model that was pulled on him a few nights ago and tells him there's no way that he was the one in the room the other night. Hanlon incites him to pull the gun, but he can't cock it. Hanlon goes to meet with the general to tell him the wrong guy's in the holding cell, and the major tells Hanlon to have a seat. The major tells him it was all a test, and he passed. He wants 10 minutes to explain. We then see Lily doing some grocery shopping. The aisles start closing in around her, and the other shoppers start acting very creepy in the background. She sees her missing friends on cereal boxes and decides it's time to go, but she's trapped in the pickle aisle. She sees her dad's body parts in pickle jars and smashes one of them before the rest smash themselves, and the collection of body parts come together and slither towards her. She snaps out of it when the grocery store manager asks about the smashed jar. We cut back to the Air Force Base, where the general takes Hanlon to the restricted area. The general tells Hanlon about the Soviet and Cuban plan for nuclear warheads and tells him they're looking for a weapon that was buried in Derry long ago. They want to weaponize it to scare their enemies, and they need Hanlon because he's fearless. Meanwhile, Lily is taken back to the insane asylum, and then we go back to the Air Force Base, and they found something. It's a Jeep that was buried, and it's full of corpses, and Dick says they're close. The end.
So yeah, this gets into that Army and the Fear storyline more, and like I said, I'm just not a fan of the storyline. So at least thus far, so it does lose me in this set of scenes. So it is interesting that the car found in the final scene is most likely from the infamous Bradley gang shootout that is referenced several times in the novel too, and shown in a mural in the first chapter of the It movie. But also when Hanlon's getting that tour, and they have all kinds of like artifacts from past Pennywise attacks that we've either heard of in the novel or in the movies. You know, like that Kirshner Ironworks sign the scientists were looking at. And I read that Andy already has plans for season 2 and 3 to kind of explore those different time periods. So while I feel like this episode was kind of a waste, I almost think that it might have been in here just to kind of give us all this to expand for future seasons. I don't really know, though. I guess we'll find out. And the supernatural part in the book where Pennywise is this alien who crashed from the Tommyknockers ship, that just doesn't interest me. You know, and something that I'd hoped we'd stay away from and make this just like scary and some sort of demon, but I don't know, I guess not, man. And just maybe exploring parts of the book that I just don't want to see or hear about. Now, the supermarket scene with Lily, again, like I said, it didn't really do it for me. So you want an explanation? Here it is. I don't know. Maybe it was just the mood when I watched it, but I guess I want some creepy shit, like maybe comparable to how I felt watching the movies. And I think stuff like this and the birthing scene in this episode, just, I don't know, it just seemed almost comically bad CG. It almost felt like I was watching a Tremors sequel. I don't know, honestly, it just hit me wrong. Now, the opening in the first episode I loved, so I know the show can do it, but I don't know, just didn't do it for me. Now, there's another big Easter egg there with the cans of Calumet. Is that how you say it? Calumet baking powder that were pretty prominent on the shelves. You'll recognize those also from The Shining. But the pickle jar part, I don't know, it just didn't hit me like I hoped. There was this cool one shot where Lily runs into the dead end of the pickle jars, and then the camera does a 360 pan around her, and we see she's boxed in. That was stand out in my eyes. I thought that was cool. But you said something, Nico, that I wrote a whole lot of, I don't know why I don't like it. I don't know how I don't like it. You said Beetlejuice. And you know what? That's exactly what a lot of this kind of looks like to me, was some Beetlejuice. And that's a comedy, man. That's just not what I want from the It movies. I don't want it to look and remind me of Beetlejuice. So you're exactly right. You know, I didn't think about it being that until you said it. But again, just a mad episode to me all the way around.
Yeah, that meat and baby just did not do it. It looked like little Beetlejuice from Beetlejuice. They didn't do it for me. I feel bad for poor Lily. She's getting interrogated intensely. I'm not sure how well any kid this age would do getting interrogated like that by a cop. And, I've already kind of mentioned this, but I wrote it down in my notes. Hot take so far, but I do not care about this military stuff. It's a slippery slope for a prequel. You want to do things differently. I get it, but I just don't care right now. Grocery store scene is great. Lily walking the aisles getting longer behind her, the adults with the spooky faces and walking up on her, the intercom just spouting out all this mumbo jumbo. I thought that was very haunting. I like that scene a lot. Brian, I know you had to appreciate this, though. I laughed. Have you lost your marbles? Well, there's a special on marbles on aisle 8. Come on, that was a good dad joke. Come on, that was good.
I mean, it was, but I didn't want to laugh. I didn't want it to be funny.
That was funny, though. I love how the aisle dead ends and it says Pennywise's cornflakes with the dead kids on the cover. Like, this is what I want more of from this damn show. Random, and I might be on an island with this one. The pickles are disgusting. I hate pickles. I think they're gross. Sorry.
Take it back.
Wild of this show to have a tentacle go in this little girl's mouth like that, though. I thought that was outrageous behavior. And the last thing I got is grocery store scene. Saved this one from being a total bore fest for me, honestly. And I hope episode 3 is a lot more intriguing.
Oh, all right.
Nico, you didn't mention it, but did you notice the ending credit song is the same one from Jeepers Creepers? That Hush Hush Boogeyman song from Jeepers?
Oh, man, when it was done, I turned it off respectfully.
First of all, pickles are delicious. I only like dill pickles, though. I don't like the sweet pickles. Anyway, let me go ahead and read my little final thoughts here. Like I said, I like this episode more than the first. Less world building and more story progression with some good stuff involved. I gave this one an 8.5. So I think a full point higher than I gave almost a full point higher than I gave episode 1. So,
yeah.
What's the last series we did?
Before this one, Alien Earth.
Alien Earth.
I think Alien Earth, and it might have been the one before that. I don't remember, but there were a lot of episodes where we completely disagreed on liking it and disliking it. That's funny.
The Last of Us was before that one. I think I only liked the first 30 minutes of that whole show, to be honest.
I was just in awe of Wendy. So.
Fair.
Yeah.
She's a cutie. But we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back next week with episode 3. Leave your comments on our post. What you feeling about the show? We'd love to hear it.
Good night, Canada.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, take care of yourself.
Just want to remind everybody,